Good morning. This is Kelly Lind on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A man convicted of manslaughter 38 years ago will continue serving his life sentence with no parole after his request for commutation was denied. In 1984, then 18-year-old Joseph Fields shot and killed 20-year-old Bobby Sokup at a home in Wagner.
Yesterday, Fields went in front of the South Dakota Board of Pardons and Parole to plead his case in hopes of one day getting paroled. A packed room of people gave testimonies from both sides of this case.
He would be such a positive influence on everybody. He wants to become a better person each and every day of his life.
We'll never be able to have our life sentence of pain and loss reduced. Why should he? Please do not keep making our family relive the horrifying events of February 12, 1984.
Fields has applied twice for this chance, but this is the first time his application got far enough to allow him to go in front of the South Dakota Board of Pardons and Parole. A crash involving a car in a wheelchair sent a man to the hospital with critical injuries.
Sioux Falls police say a 64-year-old man was crossing West 12th Street near Hawthorne Avenue around 7:30 Wednesday night when he was hit. Police shut down the street to investigate. At this point, there are no charges.
One person is dead and two others are hurt after a two-vehicle crash northeast of Sioux Falls Wednesday night. One of the vehicles failed to stop at a stop sign and collided with an SUV on Highway 11. The 64-year-old female driver of the car died at the scene.
The 53-year-old female driver of the SUV has serious non-life-threatening injuries. The 44-year-old male passenger in the SUV received minor injuries. The Highway Patrol says all three people were wearing their seatbelts.
Also Wednesday night, one person died in a two-vehicle crash north of Ethan. A 16-year-old boy was driving in the wrong lane when he crashed into a semi-truck.
The teenager died at the scene. The driver of the semi received minor injuries. Both were wearing seatbelts.
Two people are hurt after a truck crashed into a home in Mission. Mission Volunteer Fire and Rescue says it happened around 10:45 Wednesday night. Crews arriving on scene found a pickup partway through a wall.
It's reported that the pickup left the highway before hitting the home. Everyone inside was able to get out, but one person suffered minor injuries. The driver of the pickup was taken to the hospital.
Now let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Scott Munt. Good morning, Scott.
All right, good morning. We are looking at a warm day today, even though it will be slightly cooler than what we had yesterday. Temperatures will still be above average, numbers in the 60s and 70s for afternoon highs. This will come with partly cloudy skies and west to northwest winds of 5 to 15 miles per hour. I'll have details of your weekend forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Another grain buyer has come forward to acknowledge making purchases in South Dakota without a state-required license.
Hefty Seed Company has reached an agreement with state regulators to pay a $15,000 fine and become licensed as a grain buyer. The Baltic-based company admitted to purchasing more than 20 truckloads between July 2015 and June of this year. KELOLAND's Bob Mercer explains what's next and includes a link to the settlement in this story on the Capitol News Bureau page. T Area High School's principal is being honored on a national scale.
Colin Knutson has been the principal at T Area High School for the past 10 years. This year, he's been recognized as the Principal of the Year for the state of South Dakota.
I just appreciate all the work of all the educators in the state, all the principals in the state, and I would encourage anybody watching this to please thank a principal. It's a tough job. It's a long-hour job. But I know a lot of people, they love it.
October is also National Principals Month. A documentary on the pride of the Dakotas Marching Band is set to debut October 29th in Brookings. It was produced for South Dakota Public Broadcasting by independent filmmaker Brad Dumke of Sioux Falls.
The film dives into the band's history from its beginnings as a military band in the 1880s through the politics of the 1960s to today. Dumke says even before working on the film, like many South Dakotans, he feels a special connection to the band.
It seems like in the history of this state, even like the recent history of the state, say the last 30 or 40 years, it seemed like every big event that the state had, whether it's a celebration for a centennial or mourning the death of a governor or any sort of like I said, a celebration, it seemed like the pride of the Dakotas was always invited to come and show their pride.
The release of the movie was planned around a big event. The band is preparing to march in this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York.
As we await the cold of winter, families can get winter coats for their children. The annual Kids and Coats giveaway is today at the Sioux Falls Downtown Library.
Kids can pick out brand new winter coats from 3:30 to 6:30. Volunteers will be on hand to help kids find the right size for them.
And Keep Keloland Warm is still accepting donations for winter gear. All donations of coats, hats, gloves, and scarves can be dropped off at the St. Francis House or Sioux Falls Lewis Drug Stores. They'll then work with area organizations to distribute coats to those in need.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Scott Munt. Scott?
All right, good morning, everybody. Looks like today will be slightly cooler than yesterday, but temperatures still above average. This will happen with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. And for tonight, we'll probably fall to the 40s with dry skies continuing. I think our next chance to see any rain will probably happen Sunday in western South Dakota. We'll stay dry until maybe Sunday night, Monday in eastern Kettleland. And here comes the heat again for the first half of the weekend. 80s in south central to southeastern Kettleland. And for Sunday, I think we'll hold to these 80s in southeastern South Dakota and northwestern Iowa. With the cooler weather in the western South Dakota, we'll watch for that increasing chance we have at showers. A marginal risk for severe weather throughout much of Minnesota and Iowa. This is for Sunday night. I think during the day will be dry, but then once the sun sets, look for our chances for showers and thunderstorms to pick up across eastern Kettleland. Right now, we are looking at accumulations probably less than 1/10 of an inch for many. If you do get a thunderstorm overhead, then you have a better chance of seeing more than that. But I do think western and northwestern South Dakota can see anywhere between a quarter and a half inch of precipitation, and some of that may fall in the form of snow. We'll continue to monitor that as we go through the weekend. Temperatures today will hit the 60s and 70s for afternoon highs. We'll eventually fall to the 40s for overnight lows. And then for tomorrow, will be a warm day, widespread 70s and 80s. And that forecast for Sunday showing temperatures will once again hit the 80s in southeastern Kettleland, but much cooler in the western and northwestern South Dakota. You can always check the details of the 7-day forecast while you're here online. Have a great weekend.